What's up, guys? Johnny Korthuis here, coming at you from TCI Expo 2021, and I'm hanging out here with the one and only Kurt the Arborist. How you doing, bro?
Good, how you doing?
I'm actually pretty stoked to be here with you. The chances of him making it down here actually sort of came out of nowhere. I was texting him, letting him know, like, hey, I'm gonna come down here with Clogger. Is there any way that we can figure out a way to fandangle you to come? And he was like, actually, kinda. So how'd you get here?
Yeah, I did a podcast with TCIA
Yep.
not too long ago, and then they offered me an invite, and then working with Jobber, Field
Yep.
Software, great company. I asked them if they were going,
Yeah.
and they were unable to go, so they said, hey, how about we send you down, and you just go and chill on the floor and talk to people and hang out and do some social media and that kind of thing. So yeah, great company.
Were they unable to come down because of the Rona, or what was going on?
Yeah, I think it was COVID and just kind of that flip-flop back and forth
Okay.
as far as like, can they go, can they not go, wasn't sure. So, but I'm not 100% why they couldn't, but
Yeah, I was
either way
gonna
they
say,
couldn't
because if it is about the Rona, then basically they treated you like a sacrificial lamb.
go. Yeah, pretty much.
We shouldn't probably make it because we have a company to run, but I bet Kurt'd go. He'd probably be fine.
Yeah, he's probably fine to get COVID or whatever.
So here we are, go Colts,
Yeah, go Colts, go sports.
in Indianapolis, Indiana, and this is your first TCI.
Yeah, it's awesome.
What do you think?
A lot of big trucks here.
Yeah, a
Yeah.
lot of big equipment.
A lot of shiny equipment, huge ceiling roofs, a lot of people everywhere. Yeah, it's been pretty cool.
And how long have you been in the industry?
I've only been in the industry for about 3 years, actually. Almost 3 years, probably to the week, that we first met at my first arboriculture course.
3 years. And in 3 years, you've managed to accomplish a few things. You're kind of a humble dude, so I'll see if I can do my best. So after a career as a paramedic firefighter, which I didn't know this, but you also did some wildland stuff, you were saying?
Yeah, back when I was like 19 years old.
Okay, cool.
Wildland fire, yeah.
So then retired from that career and then got into arboriculture on a whim?
Kind of. I had to find a new career because of mental health, and I
Okay.
didn't know what to do. And like a year and a half went by, and then I don't know. All of a sudden, just something hit me. I don't know if I saw a picture of a guy with a chainsaw on a tree, and I was like, I just have to do that. Like,
So then you attend a course taught by some crazy guy,
yeah,
and within the last 3 years, you have managed to enroll yourself in horticulture school,
yeah. Landscape horticulture. goals.
start a tree service,
Yeah,
build several social media arboriculture platforms from scratch,
yep.
do
Yeah.
product testing for Husqvarna,
Yeah, Husqvarna,
Ailrid,
True Work, Edelridge,
True
yeah,
Work.
a whole bunch of different brands.
several saw what hand saws?
Oh, Corona tools.
Yeah, okay.
Higgs footwear.
Oh, Hikes is in there too.
Yeah.
So
Lots of great ones.
half a dozen legitimate companies.
Even
and
training, even Arboriculture Canada, I was able to do some photography.
There we
in
go.
exchange for some training. I was like,
So let's go down that road. Like, aside from all of the other wild skill sets that you have, photography and that sort of thing being one of your strengths, also marketing.
yeah,
Okay, so you have been on a little bit of like an exponential growth curve from my perspective in the industry. What you've accomplished in 3 years in terms of like the following and the clout that you have online, not to mention the amount of knowledge and training you've managed to gather, is really impressive. Where did that sort of ambition come from? How were you able to just jump in, dive in, and be so interested?
well, after the motivation of just discovering I wanted to be an arborist, I just really wanted to do it right.
Okay.
Like I didn't want to mess up.
Right.
I found myself going to trees in the beginning to go do a prune, and people would obviously ask questions like, what's wrong with my tree? And I'd be
Right.
like, faced with that question of like, should I remove this tree or should I just prune this tree?
Right.
And not feeling good about not having a like quality answer for them, I decided to pursue more training.
I see.
And then that's where it kind of started. The pruning course actually was amazing because you started getting into tree biology, and I'm a person probably like you where I want to peel back the layers of why I'm doing something as opposed
Yes.
to like, here's the method, right? Like
Right.
you can show me how to cut and prune something, but I want to know why I'm doing it and why you're pruning it there. So after peeling that back, that led into the health of the tree, the compartmentalization of decay, and all that kind of stuff. And then it just snowballed down the rabbit hole.
So did the interest in arboriculture come from, like, you know, not to be I guess direct about it, but like the need for money, or did it come from I want to switch things up, try something new? Was it genuinely interesting? Was it more, I guess, inspiration based, or was it more necessity based for you?
It was definitely both. Well, I had a list of boxes I want to check off. One of them was that I wanted to be happy at what I was doing and enjoy it. I want to really know that I wanted to do it. So when I got that inspiration to do this career from whatever it was, that checked off that box. But yes, I needed money.
Okay.
And I wanted to do a job that had some high reward as far as the time you put into it. So something like my old career as a firefighter involved physical fitness and some risk.
Right.
So you generally get paid better for those kind of careers.
Totally.
So I was like, I want to be outside. I want to work out. I knew I didn't want to work for anyone. I came from a career of policy and procedure,
Right.
where
Yes.
you're kind of in the seniority lineup, working with the union.
Uh-huh.
You know where your life is headed.
Okay.
All of the years ahead of you. Whereas it was risky and it was scary, but it was also extremely rewarding to become an entrepreneur and then start your own business and then to do things the way you wanted. So, coming from a mental health background, I wanted to take control of me and my life. And,
Right.
And, things started to pay off the more open I was to everything. Just a completely different way of thinking. And man, it really helped with my recovery too. It's just been awesome. So.
Yeah. The first course that you took was, I think, either chainsaw or technical tree felling or something like that, right?
Production tree removal.
Production tree removal. So obviously you took a similar inroad to the industry as many, right? Like getting into remove trees. But like you said, you remained open.
Yeah.
And then, if I recall correctly, it was pruning shortly thereafter.
Yeah.
Right? And pruning, from my perspective of your development, sort of led you down this interest of tree biology and physiology, and how the trees aren't necessarily just a single unit existing. They're part of a structure. They're part of an ecosystem.
Right.
Then one thing led to another, and by remaining open, you've just added sort of layers onto your own onion, I guess you could say, of knowledge, while stripping away all of the things that you didn't know. Where are you headed next?
Well, yeah, like you said, one thing led to another. I got into permaculture, and then I got into the soil science of things, and it's like I want to create my own niche. And then after doing all this and having so much success, I realized I can just kind of create my own career or whatever I want to do.
Mm-hmm.
This eventually, fast forward to today, I came across this feeling, I guess you'd say, when I was doing a lot of tree work in Cochrane, because I would go to people's places, right, and they would want to remove a tree, like anybody that goes and does a tree job, and they'll want to cut down a big healthy tree in their front yard because they moved to a new house. They want to make it their own, right?
Yes.
And you're always faced with this decision, and I assume a lot of tree companies are also going to take those jobs because they want to get it done safely.
Yep.
And that's their job, right? Is to do this. So, but I kind of felt sick about it sometimes. Not sick, but just not great. And sometimes the homeowners as well would be like, I don't want to cut my tree down, but I don't want it, so it's got to go. And I felt like I was being more part of the problem than the solution.
Right.
And I wanted to plant trees as well somehow in the community, but it's not honestly very feasible. Like, you don't earn a lot of money from doing that, so time investment wasn't really there. So I came up with an idea to launch a new organization called envirotree.org,
Right.
which I believe is what you're kind of leading into. Just came out for TCIA. You can check out the website. It's just a landing page right now. But for arborists specifically, what I want to encourage is a tree cycle program.
Right.
So it's a 2-to-1 regenerative program. So we're going to plant 2 trees for every one that you remove, right?
Yeah.
And it doesn't come down to the homeowner or the arborist company themselves who have to plant this tree or to do it in that community. It's all about climate change, and climate change not having any borders.
Okay. So this is an international thing.
It's going to be an international thing. Any arborist, any business in the world can participate in this.
Gotcha.
And take part in offsetting like their carbon footprint for any company or for arborists specifically.
Right.
I want to encourage kind of like a recycling type fee. And there's similar sort of things out there, like a 1-to-1 kind of tree thing, but usually the arborist company is faced with the cost themselves.
Right.
And I want to encourage it as something that's going to be cost shared amongst the homeowners that are removing their trees. So a small like $20 or $25 fee gets 2 trees planted. That tree company gets branding and recognition, as well as the homeowner for planting these trees. They can share and spread the news and create more awareness. And
you can feel like you're part of the solution, basically.
Like
you were saying earlier, you felt like you were part of the problem. The problem being removing trees and taking all of this sequestered carbon and basically releasing it back into the atmosphere and things like that. Now, why is it that planting trees right back where you took them out isn't always feasible?
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, sometimes it is, but like I've heard from some of the people here at TCIA that there's already things like this in place in Vancouver, regulated maybe by the municipality.
Absolutely there is,
Or
yep.
out in Ontario. But they're asking homeowners to replace the trees right in their own yard. But I mean,
Often in the exact same hole that gets ground out.
Yard sizes are small. Sometimes people remove their tree and they don't even want to remove the stump. They just want to continue on. There's a huge root system in the ground. Like there's a plethora of problems. Or the fact that the tree died in the first place is because the ground is total garbage. It's compacted. It's full of grass. You know, people don't want to maintain them themselves.
So that's something that I've definitely come across in my career. Is I'm very committed to trying to replace what I take. Right. Ideally I want to leave zero trace, but even better, I want to leave this place net positive in the way that I found it. But the problem sometimes comes from, trees can stand in the way of development. And now we want to further develop that ecosystem by putting another tree in. But if the homeowner isn't really invested in their own area the way that you might be, because you just genuinely want to put, life back into that zone, it can actually almost become a convenient scapegoat where the municipality, for instance, like a municipality like North Vancouver or even Waterton National Park, you remove a tree, you have to commit to planting another tree. Now, you may have just removed a 150 to 200 year old fir tree and you're going to replace it with a carrageenan.
Yeah.
Or worse, you're going to replace it with a linden or something that will not live in that spot. But at least you've taken the action.
Yeah.
You put the tree in, you let the tree die, and then it becomes very easy yet again for you to approach the municipality to get the permit to get rid of it.
Yeah.
And you're on this ongoing cycle of the customer doesn't know how to water it or forgets, even if you do your best to inform them. And then maybe the tree doesn't do so well. This sounds to me like a way that you can be part of the solution without relying on somebody who may or may not be even equipped to see it through fruition.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and we're going to take basically the earnings from this recycling fee and then take care of everything, where the trees are going to get planted, monitoring them, making sure all the checks and balances are there.
Right.
For example, planting trees at like a regenerative project, like a permaculture one that I mentioned to you in Canada here that we're working on. And like those trees are going to be picked out specifically for their species that are going to grow in that area. They're part of a diverse ecosystem. There's just multiple benefits to doing it. Like thinking beyond just getting a tree in the ground.
Right.
And I want to be that company that's doing that.
Cool, man. Well, I for one really appreciate it. And I know hundreds of other people in this industry that are going to be happy that somebody is taking that initiative. You had said there were some other organizations doing it. That's fine. But let's be frank. There's always room for more. And inevitably, somebody needs to build something that is going to help address this on a global scale.
Yeah.
And if us as arborists / horticulturalists / landscapers can be part of that solution, I think that's really important. Now, I want to switch gears, let's cruise back over to like social media and the marketing. It is relatively easy in this industry to go to work and do your job and collect a check and come home. And it takes a significant amount of effort to bring a camera out and remember to have it charged and to get it into position and to actually go through the effort of capturing, collecting, editing, and sharing what you're doing at work. Why do you think it's important to do these things?
Well, I did them in the beginning because, I enjoy photography as well. I just like doing it, and I want to spread some of the awareness of the career. Like, I didn't even know Arborist existed before I kind of just fell into it. Even when you call the insurance company to get insurance for your first job in Arborist, like, they just lump you in as landscapers.
Yeah, what exactly are you doing?
Yeah, or tree fellers, loggers, that sort of thing. So it's really cool to bring some awareness to the industry, especially like through safety and it all just builds and takes part of the steps towards maybe some more safer regulations or just ways to do our job better. I just straight up enjoy it too.
Okay, so you just like to do it.
Yeah.
Well, from my perspective, I think that it's important that guys like you who have invested in training and invested in basically time and practice and energy of doing things maybe not the fastest way, but potentially maybe a more safe way or a more efficient way, are vocal about this type of thing. Because let's be honest, if you go on YouTube and you search Arborist fails, there's plenty of them.
Yeah.
Do you think that there is a place in the future, especially online, for Arborist wins and Arborist successes?
Yeah, I've seen a few. Of course, you don't know the backstory of what's happening, but you get a lot of those guys cutting down trees, just nailing just perfect right down the line, right? Like, yeah, it's a good feeling to be. It's just a good feeling to be good at your job, and like, you know, whatever it might be out there, when you got something dialed in and you can do it good, safely, and make it look cool too at the same time, it's just a great feeling to have.
I definitely agree with it can be tough and you don't really know what went into it beforehand. Something that I've really tried to do in some of my social media posts is sort of attach a narrative, right? So explain, even if it's in complicated language that the majority of my followers don't understand, at least going through some of the motions of explaining that it wasn't just, you know, nailing it.
Yeah.
There was a pull line in the tree. We used a 79-degree open face notch. We did a thorough assessment of the area and the trees and the hazards and things like that to be able to do what we do. Often on some of like my complicated rigging jobs or my crane jobs, I go to that extra effort just to, you know, be vocal about the half hitch and using the shackle in the correct orientation and things like that.
Yeah.
I've seen now a shift in some of your posts moving away from production arboriculture more into plant physiology, more into like the horticultural end of things. What do you think you're going to be equipped to do to help inform other arborists, because you do have a significant following, to say maybe inspire more of a interest in what's happening, you know, maybe within the tree or below the ground and things like that? What can you do to sort of foster that interest and that same sort of enthusiasm that you have?
Yeah, I'm just going to continue on doing that, and that's where I've kind of found my niche. You know, I don't think I'm the best climber in the world. You know, I'm pretty mediocre at it. Like, I stay safe, but I'm probably not the fastest, right? There are definitely a lot better people. So I don't want to pretend to be that guy.
Right.
I want to be authentic. And my interests do lie in the soil and the health of the tree and diagnosis. And I mean, I don't even know everything about that either, of course. I'm always learning. So by putting yourself out there too and making these posts, you do get feedback from people, right? And say, I think it might be this, you know, I can go and research and build the communication. But I already do a lot of this on my other Instagram, my personal business. It's called Cochrane Tree Care, at Cochrane Tree Care.
Sure.
Bunch of highlight reels in there of me just finding different species with different diseases and that sort of thing. But I'm going to try and transition a lot of that now that I've built a bit more confidence over to Kurt the Arborist, because that's kind of my bigger account.
Sure.
Where it's been a lot of branding and a lot of cool photos, because that's what I was confident doing, right? Just taking a cool photo of a cool chainsaw. You know, you would also model in some of those photos too. And model. I could just do that. But now I do want to bring forward some of the tree health stuff. And I was kind of worried because I'm like, you know, other places in the world, there's a lot of different kinds of trees. There's probably stuff going on I don't understand. I don't want to get down this rabbit hole of fighting somebody online about what is right. But, you know, I think you just got to put yourself out there, though, Sue, sometimes, and just own what you know. And share it. And there is actually a lot for people to learn from each other. I can learn a lot from others. And I think now, honestly, after going through some of the trainer course recently, like, there's a lot of people that can learn a lot from me as well. And now I'm ready to share. So
within 3 years, man, I really am proud of you. Like, what I'm seeing you do is so cool.
Thanks, man.
And I do also selfishly take a little bit of pride in being a part of it. So thank you for including me. Wrapping up a little bit, I asked this question in a lot of the courses that I give. And sometimes it's to help me get into the minds of my students. And other times it's helped me to build a more diverse data set in the way that I deliver information or even just cool pictures online. What is your favorite part of this job? Or what is your favorite part of your position in this industry?
If I had to break it down, you know, and try to encompass all my favorite parts, it really does come to just a human connection side of things. Like, I mean, of course there's bad days when you meet people that are upset, but everything in life, I mean, it comes down to meeting somebody new, making them happy, leaving behind a job that was done well, and they're just stoked that you did it safely, and feeling good about that. Like that, if that can generalize what my favorite part is, you know what I mean? Like, I've met some amazing people that were customers and people in the industry, and it's, you know, developed relationships, like even just meeting you with your training, right? Like, it just keeps your life going forward and just surrendering to the flow of life, you know, and like just following it where it goes. Like, I don't know where I'm going to be in 1 year, 5 years, I have no idea. And like, that's awesome, right? Because if I do know, that's the problem, right? That was the problem with the fire department. So
exactly. It's like, this has sort of been decided for me, so that ain't gonna work out. I need to be able to decide for myself.
So the entrepreneurship side is taking ownership for what you can learn and do.
Right on, man. Well, thanks for the chat. I hope everybody liked it. It's always fun to adventure with you, man.
Thanks.
Maybe we'll see you at TCI 2022. This has been Johnny Korthuis just hanging out. Big shout out to Clogger for getting us out here and setting us up with all the gear to sit down and chat about where we're at. So appreciate you. Catch you guys on the flip
Thanks,
side.
Jobber.
Johnny K out. Peace.